Hello, today we're going to test some fake wound techniques to make some really gross and ugly wounds for Halloween. For the first one that we're going to do today, it is latex free, so this will be helpful if you have any latex allergies in your family. What you'll need for this wound is some regular school glue, some tissue paper, like a Kleenex or toilet paper. You'll also need some foundation, a brush, and perhaps some blood, whether you want to purchase blood or if you would like to make your own fake blood. So those are the things that you will need. This one is pretty easy to do. You just need a surface like your arm or wherever that you're applying this wound. I'm going to do a little bit of prep. We're going to take our little tissue paper here and we're just going to cut it down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take and then brush on a layer of glue where you want your wound to be. And you're going to take your tissue paper, your Kleenex, and just put that down over top and then put another layer of glue. More Kleenex. I probably shouldn't have turned my arm so weird because this is super awkward to keep my arm like this. Once you're done, you're happy with your layers. I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna use my little dryer here and try not to get too close to your arm because you don't actually want to burn your skin. And I apologize if you can hear a noise in the background. We have a 3D print going at the moment for my next video. Once it's dry, I'm gonna cut an incision in your arm, but not in your arm, just in the paper that you glued to your arm. Use a toothpick to move everything around a little bit more if you want. What did you do today, Pam? Oh, I glued things to my arm. Once you're happy with how dry it is, you're gonna take your foundation in a shade that's close to your skin tone, and then you're just gonna blend it in around. It's not the most realistic looking skin patch because you can still see that it looks like something stuck to your arm. Once you have your foundation down around and it's kind of looking like your skin, you can use a red eyeshadow. I don't really have too many reds. I have this red is like the closest, and there's a brown in there, and then you can just fill in around the wound a little bit with your red eyeshadow. You can also put some brown in there. And then you can also use your fake blood just to fill in that a little bit, make it oozy. There's our fake wound. This one, of course, it doesn't look the best around the edge. You could probably trim this smaller, spend more time just making it over the little area that you want your cut to be, and not making it such a big, like, glued down square here. But for fun, for kids, if you didn't want something to be too realistic, this is a good option for you. You can also make an incision, a cut. You can make a cut on your arm too, just using some eyeshadow, and this is a lip liner pencil. Let's do it over here. So you draw your line, you can smear that out, and then you can go over it with your eyeshadow, blend it out a little bit so it doesn't look just like a makeup line on your arm. That's actually not too bad. Like if you're just drawing a little line there, you just want a little spot, especially for kids. So now we have 2 wounds on our arm. The next one we're going to do is with liquid latex. This stuff has a tendency to smell bad because it has ammonia in it. Do not ingest. So because this has ammonia in it, you might want to test it on your skin to see if you react to it. You also don't really want to get it into your hair because it will stick and it's hard to get out. You're going to shake up the bottle, and this will dry clear. You can do it very similar that we did with the school glue. You can just glue on some tissue paper and cut it and create a wound like that. Or you can put this on in layers and then move it around and create some sort of weird wound. I'm running out of real estate on my offhand arm. And yes, it smells like cat pee, which is amazing. So you brush on a layer and then you wait for it to dry. You can see it drying. It's turning from this lovely off-white color clear. Another layer. Can you speed up liquid latex drying time with heat? Looks like you can. The answer is yes. Yes, you can. And then you can take your toothpick and then you can just make little cuts in it or move it. It's easier to pull it apart where it's white here. Make it gross looking. So this, if you are doing this, you want to not wait till it dries completely clear because then you can't really manipulate it. But if you have those white areas still on the latex, then you can move it around a little bit. So you don't want it to be completely dry. Just be careful of your skin as well. You know, you don't want to hurt yourself. So we made some broken oozing blisters there. They will be oozing in a moment. Again, you can use eyeshadow, some water activated paint if you have it. Lovely boils there. You can also use your red lip liner. And then you can also put in your fake blood. If you watch my fake blood video on how to make fake blood, I'm sure you could also color that differently if you really wanted to. Use like a green food coloring and make them look like gross, oozing pus filled pustules with this liquid latex. That would look really disgusting. That's actually kind of gross. That's probably the best one. Like it just looks like it's in my skin. That's so gross. So if you don't have a latex allergy, this is probably the best way of doing this. This was maybe $6 or $7. You might need one every season because if it dries out on you, you need to replace it. So you can use the liquid latex as well to build up more of a scarred area. Let's move to the back of my head because my arm is getting filled up here. So I'm gonna go back this way. And we're gonna add in some things to create a little bit of depth in our scar. Ta-da! Cotton balls. Pull a little bit apart, then you can build up the liquid latex around this. Liquid latex also is kind of hard to come off your skin. I might not have the things to get it off my skin, so we'll see how fun that is later. Oh, and this one's gonna be in hair. Great. I think with a bit of practice, you can make some really gross and disgusting things. And I'm going to try to use the foundation to see if I can make that look more like my skin tone. And then use some of our red, fill in these holes here. I've never done this before, so this is just me experimenting, by the way. So far, pretty easy to use and manipulate. Like, it's not a difficult thing. I think the harder part is getting it to look a little bit more realistic. But I think that just comes with practice. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of fun to play with. I have no idea how I'm getting this off my hand. I don't know what kind of injury that is, but it looks bad. I also attempted to make my own DIY scar wax for this video. The recipe I used called for 4 teaspoons of flour to 1 teaspoon of Vaseline, but I have seen people mix a 1-to-1 ratio of flour to Vaseline. You can mix your foundation shade into this as well if needed. I'm not gonna lie, it was not easy to mix up. Apparently the Vaseline needs to be warm and it will mix better. Mine had been sitting in our basement, so it was quite cool. I ended up heating up the whole bowl in the microwave and that definitely helped. To get this stuff to stick to you was also a pain. You needed to apply some Vaseline to the area you were putting the DIY scar wax and then use more Vaseline to smooth it down and spread it where you wanted your wound. Then you could use a toothpick coated in more Vaseline to make a cut or incision in the scar wax to make it look however you want. I ended up filling up mine with some fake blood.
And while it did look gross, it rubbed right off. So it would not be something that would last for very long. But again, if you have allergies, this might be a good option for you.
I need to figure out how to get liquid latex off of my arm. Someone said just to peel it off. Yeah, you can. Put this on the back of my hand and there's a bunch of hair there. Now for this one. Oh, I just am a glutton for punishment today. Okay, so it does peel right off. Out of all these wound techniques that we tested today, I think I like the latex one the best for me. I'm not allergic to latex, so it doesn't bother me to use it. However, if you are allergic to latex, you might want to look into the other options. I think if I was going to try to use scar wax, I would try to buy some at first just to know what it feels like before I tried making my own again, because making my own didn't really work out that well, and I don't think it looked great, and it was difficult to use. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one. The one with just the regular school glue and the tissue paper, toilet paper, it looked okay. It would be fine for kids. It wasn't the most realistic, so probably my least favorite. The one where I just drew on with the lip liner and a bit of eyeshadow, that actually turned out really well. And it was super easy and quick. Like if you just want to do a little scar on your face or something, or a cut or a scratch, so easy. And you just need a red lip liner and some eyeshadow in red and brown, and you can make things that look pretty neat quite easily just with makeup. So I definitely like the latex the best for the like gorier ones, and I do want to practice more with that so that I can make some grosser techniques, especially if I am trying to terrify people coming up to my house on Halloween. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to know how to make fake blood for your own gory purposes, you can watch this video next. Until next time, my name is Pam, and this is Total Pamarchy, the craft channel with a little anarchy. Till next time, bye.